Welcome back, Technophiles, to another exciting episode of Technophiles Talk, where we explore the cutting edge developments in technology with the industry's most brilliant minds. I'm your host, Aditri R, and today we have an episode that's sure to inspire and inform everyone looking to deep dive into the world of generative AI. Joining us today is someone who is not only experienced but also deeply passionate about the transformative power of AI. Please welcome Shilpa Garg, conversational manager at Deloitte with over a decade of experience in natural language processing, conversational AI, and generative AI. Shilpa, welcome to the show.
Hi everyone, and thank you for a very warm introduction and a very warm welcome, Aditi. It's a pleasure to be a part of this show, and I'm really excited what's going ahead.
Shilpa, you have had an incredible journey into the world of AI, working with industry giants like Google and Deloitte. Let's dive right in. Today, we are focusing on the Gen AI developer roadmap. Can you start by giving us an overview of what a developer needs to know to get started in this field?
Okay, so I'll start from the very basic, I think. So when we start as a developer, right, I think there is a lot of misconception these days which has been happening around because of the introduction of the Gen AI, which we see, and all those OpenAI APIs, Google Gemini Pro, and a lot more, right? So I would say, as we say, don't forget your roots, right? As always, I will say in this part as well, in generative AI, we should have the knowledge about machine learning and deep learning. There are a few basic concepts which a developer should know, I would say, right? Be it basics of machine learning or deep learning, like concepts about ML algos, be it supervised learning, unsupervised learning, or reinforcement learning, which is the base of, I would say, LLM models, right? And then if we talk about the machine learning vocabulary, which talks about, say, biases, weights, regressions, and laws, and everything, right? We should have some knowledge about it. Then when we move on from machine learning to deep learning, then we talk about neural networks, right? So neural networks, again, is the backbone of LLM models. Today we talk about LLM models a lot when we talk about generative AI, because generative AI these days is all about LLM models, right? So I'd say have some knowledge, learn about neural networks, how they work, how do they process, why neural networks are neural networks, where is the name derived from, right? And then have some knowledge about transformers like RNN and BERT. So this is the very basic of a machine learning and deep learning thing. Then this is not all, I'd say. Then we move on to some programming languages like Python, and some basic logical skills should be there, right? Today, these days, what I have seen is developers who are just entering the industry, or who are in their college life, or are switching from one, I'd say, career to another, to definitely to machine learning or deep learning. I see that they think that, okay, we do the code, we search for the code base on ChatGPT, or we search for the code base on any of the available open LLM APIs, right? And they think that it is done, but no, that's not a part, because that is also a human developed language that definitely that has learned from lots of millions of billions of data, but then that's not all, right? A human intervention is always needed. If you don't have knowledge about programming, how would you be able to process? Then some knowledge about mathematics, stats, then Gen AI knowledge, like what are GANs, what are RAGs, what are VAs, all those stuff. Then some knowledge about NLPs, and definitely responsible AI. I think we can talk about responsible AI in going forward. Yeah.
So, talking about programming languages, what programming languages are most commonly used in generative AI development?
So I'm not sure about all the languages, but I have seen Python to be most used. As we all know, like Python is these days is a backbone or the basis of data science, and data science definitely is part and parcel of Gen AI, right? So I would say Python is one of the most important languages for that, and it is very easy to learn. You can learn it. It is very easier than Java, .NET. I'm telling from my personal experience, right? And it is very human-like language, like the way we speak or the way we write. It is very human-like, so it is very easy to learn Python.
So you talked about neural network. Can you explain the basic structure of a neural network and how it processes information?
Yeah. So neural networks are basically, as I was saying, like how the neural network word is derived from, right? Neural network, as we have seen, there are neurons in our brain, from where the brain, our human brains does the learning, right? That's where the word neural derived from. It or actually it is based on completely of how our brain network processes, right? That is why it is called neural networks. So we have a receptor and an acceptor where the knowledge is passed from one of the receptors to the acceptors, right? So that's how neural networks are processed on. So this is the base of Gen AI these days, and neural network has the power like RNNs and the BERT models are these are derived from neural networks. These are the power to learn over time, right? That's why the word large language model, or that's why the word machine learning, like learning of the over time, right? That's where the word derived from. Yeah.
What are some real world applications of neural AI that are transforming industries nowadays?
I'd say a lot. Starting from, I'd say these days there is no industry, or I have not seen it yet, which is not talking about Gen AI, right? In my experience as well, starting from when I started working on back in 2015 till today, the AI has transformed a lot, and along with the applications of industry and applications of AI in industry has transformed a lot as well. Starting from healthcare to, I'd say, automation to chatbots to conversational AI to agent assist, and then to educational as well, definitely, right? Everywhere we can see AI these days. So there are a lot of applications where in healthcare we see there are certain models which are there who predict that if a person can have certain disease or not, or in the near future if a person can have certain disease or not. These things are really transformative and are really mind-blowing in I'd say in the whole human existence, and these are helping us a lot as well. Yeah.
So, who is someone new into this field, how would they gain expertise in these advanced topics? Are there any like specific resources or pathways that you recommend?
Yeah, I will say don't jump to the advanced level, right? You always move step by step. When you start from the basics, as I have mentioned as well, right? Start from certain basic courses. You will find a lot of courses on YouTube, on Coursera, on GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, AWS, Amazon's Cloud Platform, and then we have courses, a lot of courses available on a lot of other websites, definitely, right? And there are free courses. You need not to spend as well. There are free courses available. You can start from the basic of machine learning, basics of generative AI, and then move ahead. I'll highly recommend to everyone that please don't jump directly to use of the Gen AI just if you want to be into this field. If you just want to use it as an application, well and go, you're good to go, right? But if you want to learn into this field and create your career into this field, then I would say learn about how prompting works in Gen AI, right? So this would help you a lot.
Talking about prompts, what role do pre-trained models like GPT or BERT play in generative AI development?
So these models, I would say, are the backbone, are the strength of generative AI development, right? Initially, machine learning was there. Then from machine learning, we get on to deep learning. There was the next step, right? From deep learning, we moved on to, I would say, this neural networks, right? Wherein we talk about RNN and definitely BERT. Then comes a different type of BERT model. Then comes LLM models, which are nothing but I would say advanced level of these neural network models, which are trained on billions of parameters of data and are highly advanced models. So yeah, these are in short, these are the backbones of machine learning and Gen AI.
So, how do you think generative AI differs from the traditional AI?
It differs in many ways, right? If I talk about traditional AI, specifically, if I take you back a decade ago, right? If we are here, suppose we are here in 2014, 2015, or 2013, 2012, or just after 2-3 years after 2010, what used to happen, there was no such, I would say, courses available. There were no such advanced models available in the world, right? We used to learn from we used to create models from scratch. We used to train models from scratch. We used to gather billions and zillions of data points and go through those data and do the data cleaning, data pre-processing with the one by one and use some of the mechanisms as well, but then we had to go through that data. It used to take a lot of time sometimes to create a good model, and to create a good, I would say, get good results from the model. It sometimes has taken people like around 6 months or more than that, right? But nowadays, like with LLMs, you don't have to do it anything. There are approaches like, if I talk about specifically about conversational AI, right? What I have seen over here is, earlier we used to train like hundreds of intents to create any conversational AI. But nowadays we are seeing a intentless approach, right? Wherein you don't need to do train any kind of intent. You just give some prompts to the Gen AI model, and then you're good to go. Like your Gen AI LLM model will start responding like a very good conversational AI trained bot. So these are the advancements which we have seen. Definitely, everything has advantages and disadvantages. Disadvantages only occur when we use it beyond its required limit, right? As we know, like as we have again seen the or heard the quote that there is a limit to everything, right? So when a developer knows the limit, then definitely they'll be they'll create a good career and they'll learn a lot from LLMs. But when they cross their limits, when they start passing on their clients' data, their personal information to these models, this can also create havocs for them. So I'd say just refrain from that.
My next question would be, can you name a few popular frameworks or tools that have been used in building generative AI models?
So I would say, like, we are not these days, we are not building generative AI models, we are consuming them. Because see, not everybody can build a generative AI model, right? Because it needs a lot of, I'd say, a lot of data points, lot of data along with them, and then you need a very good data center and very good GPUs, CPUs, where you can store a lot of data. Then it is very heavy on the pocket, to be very honest, right? So I'd say we these days, most of the people are consuming, except from the tech giants who are developing these models. But then when you are using these models, then on the way you can make these models learn. How do you do that? You do that through prompting. Prompting is nothing but that's again simply how you write in English. You just give the prompts to your model, tell them what you are expecting from a Gen AI model, tell them in a very instruction, like you have to give the instructions to a model, and that's how it starts working for you.
What do you think would be the future of generative AI?
Very good question. So yeah, future of generative AI, I would say, is generative AI. Why? Because these days what we are seeing is everything people try to do from Gen AI, right? I have seen people in the companies, even if they have to write, I would say, for example, even if they have to write a mail, right, a mail to their manager, or a leave application to their manager, they want Gen AI to write it for them. They just give it a instruction that, okay, I am ill, and please write a good professional email for my manager, and Gen AI does the job. I'd say this is the future, right? People are saying that this could take jobs, but this is also generating a lot of jobs, right? So technology advancements occur, right? Technology advancements occur after certain, like it is very periodic. Things come and go, like, right? But if I talk about generative AI, it is here to stay. As I would say, I clearly remember back then in 2013, 14, 15, people used to say that data science is there and it is here to stay. I would say yes, data science Gen AI is here to stay, and it will help a lot. But again, I'll repeat my words. If we use it in very, I'd say, secure manner, and if we be responsible, that's what we call responsible AI, right? So whenever we are using it, we need to be very sure of what data we are passing on to Gen AI, right? What data we are passing on to LLM model, because they are public models. Until unless you have their enterprise edition or something like that, right? But they are public models. What we always suggest users to do is mask their data, mask your personal information, abide by the security policies, abide by the government rules and regulations like GDPR, HIPAA, so that whatever data you see in this digital area, right, in this digital era, you should protect your personal data, right? As we have seen and heard this a lot, that data is the new oil, right? Earlier, back then, we used to say that oil is everything. We know the countries who are oil giants, right? But these days, in digital era, data is the new oil. So it is a developer's job to protect their client's data. It is a developer's job to protect their own data from getting into hands of like such people who can misuse that. So I'd say that comes from learning. That comes only from learning and experience, definitely. But then if you start learning about responsible AI, if you start learning about how you can protect your data, there are again a lot of courses, a lot of code labs available. You can definitely go through it.
What are any more ethical concerns that developers have to keep in mind while using generative AI or modeling after?
There are, I would say, 2, 3 maximum concerns. One is definitely be responsible, protecting their data, as I am again and again focusing on that because that is very important. Second one definitely is keeping a regular check on what model you are using and evaluating your models, because sometimes when we are using say third party API which is not open sources, which is not which is like paid, which is not free for you, right, then it could be sometimes very heavy on the pocket because they charge you per token. Token is not a word. Some people consider token as a word. No, token is combination of 3 to 4 characters, sometimes 5 characters, right? So when I say a word conversational, it could have 2 to 3 tokens, right? So these services charge us per token, right? So when and the charges, when we pass some information to the API, you are charged, and when you get some response from the API, you are charged. So you get charged both ways. So you need to be very, very responsible of that. How many tokens you're using, how many tokens you're consuming, right? And you can definitely limit that. You can give prompt to your GenAI model that I want the answer in maximum this tokens only to limit our cost. So I would definitely say with keeping certain things in mind, we can definitely like do a very good use of GenAI models. Yeah.
So how would, like, you have worked extensively with conversational AI and chatbots.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that for a basic understanding of a person? How does that experience translate to working with Gen AI?
As I have mentioned already, like in the past decade, I have seen a lot of change, right? From earlier, we used to kind of train the models. Earlier, we used to take the biases, like check the data from scratch and check we are not passing any null data, we are not passing any, I'd say, biased data to our model, because otherwise we get bad results and model starts giving biased results, definitely. But nowadays with LLM, everything is like very easy to use, right? You just give some prompts to a conversational to a LLM model, a text based LLM model, or if you want to go through voice based conversational AI, or that's also altogether a different ball game. But nowadays we just pass some prompts with the intentless approach, with the approaches like agent builder. I have seen like where you can just give some prompts, your agent is ready to go, right? Where so I would say it has changed a lot, but I think in the coming years it is also changing a lot. So we have to get ourselves updated. We have to keep on learning. We have to be open to learning. We should not say, okay, that, for example, I'll just give my example. I started working on all this conversational AI in 2014, right? So if I would have like stood there and said, okay, like I am done, I have learned machine learning, I am done, then I would be nowhere today. Because where we see machine learning these days, right? People are not talking about it. People are talking about generative AI. So we have to learn. We have to upgrade ourselves. So my only advice to everyone over here is keep learning, keep yourself open to learning, and then you will do very good for yourself.
Talking about keeping yourself updated, how do you keep yourself updated with the ongoing trends?
I'd say first and foremost is the community. I am a community person. I have been a part of the communities. I have been a part of GDG, if you have heard of it, Google Developers Group. I have been part of GDGs from like 2016, 2017. It's been like 7-8 years. I am the organizer of GDG New Delhi as well. So community helps us a lot. It helps us learn a lot. It helps us know about technology a lot. Not even the technology which we are working on, but what is happening around us, right? What is community? Community is a group of like-minded people when they sit together and talk about their interest, be it tech, be it non-tech. It could be anything. I'm here talking about tech communities where I'm a part of. I have been to a lot of community events, community meetups. I have organized them a lot. Community keeps you grounded and community keeps you upgraded as well. So I would say you can be a part of any community around you and it would help you a lot. Second is keep on searching on the web and learning, right? Be open to learning. Even if you're in college, I would say that is the best time, because you see that people around you, your friends around you, everybody has different interests, everybody has a lot of knowledge. Sharing your knowledge is the best thing, right? Sharing your knowledge and grabbing others' knowledge also is the best thing to keep yourself upgraded. If you are in a like workplace, right? Learn from your peers, learn from your colleagues, right? Because everyone has a different mindset, everyone has a different learning experience. So learn from them how they are learning. And a lot of companies nowadays offer a lot of like upskilling courses. So I would suggest if you're a professional, go for them. It will help you a lot.
What advice would you give to students who are just starting to learn about conversational AI?
I would say who have just started learning or are just learning conversational AI, they should keep few things in mind, right? I will not talk about some like gyan. I'll just give simple and sorted things about Gen AI or conversational AI. You keep 3-4 things in mind. First of all, understand the problem statement. Understand what your client or your problem statement. Say, for example, you're developing a project. Understand first of all, if like it's not a bad thing to ask questions. Ask 50 questions until and unless you are not clear, right? Understand your problem statement, then monitor your whatever you're developing, monitor and evaluate it regularly. Third one is, as I have mentioned again, mentioned earlier as well, stay updated and collaborate with people. It will help you a lot, right? Then the fourth one is, I would say, be very sure of safety and ethics, right? Prioritize it because it is very important, because we are today in the digital era. We have seen a lot of digital frauds happening. So it is in developers' hand how they could make a good product, how they could stop that, right? Use all those available security guidelines, security policies, abide by them, and prioritize that safety and ethics. Last but not the least, whenever you're developing a product, whenever you're learning something, right? Focus on like very good user experience. Why we are these days we have seen a lot of courses are very famous, right? Because they are focusing a lot on good user experience, right? They know when a user would want to press a button, they know when a user would want to go to the next page, they know when a user would want to close this particular thing. They have given the particular button at that point of that point only. That is good user experience. So focus on that, and again, always open to learn new things. That is my only advice. Yeah.
My next question would be, how can students prepare for a career in conversational AI or NLP?
Like I would say, first of all, find your interest, right? If you are very much interested in conversational AI and NLP, then only go there. If you are just going, if you are like following a flock of sheep, I would say just then don't go, right? I have seen a lot of people these days who just come to me and call me, okay, you are like, for example, I have a lot of people who I meet in my day-to-day life, not from my company, from my other companies as well, or my previous colleagues as well, who just call me and say, okay, you are working into conversational AI, you are working into Gen AI. We have heard a lot about this. I have like say 6 years of experience into Java, but I want to move to Gen AI. How can I do that? Or I have heard a lot of people who say I have like 2-3 years of experience in React and I am a full stack developer and I want to move to Gen AI. I say a big no to them, because you have to understand Gen AI is one part of technology. It is not everything, right? When you have when you are building a product, you cannot build it using Gen AI. I would say front end is equally important, back end is equally important, database is equally important. Then Gen AI is also equally important, right? So there are like all 5 different building blocks that make together that makes a product, right? Only Gen AI cannot do the job. So if everyone comes and like be a part of this, like I would say, real which is going on, that it will not do the job, right? Yes, if you are a student, if you are learning, and if you are fresher, and if you are already interested to be a NLP developer or a conversational developer, then you should go ahead. You can start learning from, again, the basic courses. First learn Python, basics of Python, right? And then learn about what exactly conversational AI is, right? There are two things in conversational: one is designer and one is developer. First of all, you should be a good designer. Again, as I was talking earlier, you should focus on good user experience, right? So for example, if I am building a bot, I am building, for example, a very simple flight booking bot, and I am building a bot, and somebody comes to my bot and asks a question. I want to book a flight, and my conversational bot gives a reply. What do you want to do? Then it's a bad user experience, right? So you should first be a conversational designer. You should know how a conversation should flow. Then only you focus on that, right? So learn about how a conversation could be a good conversation, right? Then start designing that. Then start learning about basics of NLPs and all these techniques, and then you can definitely learn about Gen AI. Again, you learn about good prompting. Again, there are a lot of courses available which can tell you how to do a good prompting on Gen AI models, right? Then you can learn about that. Then you can learn about optimizing LLM models. Move step by step. Don't just go and jump to optimizing LLM model. Then all these things will be empty and your product will break down, right? So that is my only advice. Yeah.
Talking about an industry where we can see Gen AI users, what are some more emerging applications for conversational AI in industries such as healthcare, finance, and retail?
So, like in healthcare, there is a lot of advancement has happened into conversational AI plus healthcare, wherein I have seen a lot of hospitals or a lot of clinics where they are opting a kind of a bot, right, where the user can just come in, give their problem, tell their problem to the bot. The bot can ask them questions, right? Okay, like how do you feel? Do you have this much temperature, or do you have these kind of symptoms? Then bot can directly depict what problem they could have, which also helps the doctor a lot. Like, right, doctor can see the history at once of the patient because the patient has already given it to the bot. Doctor can directly see the like medical history of that person using these bots, right? So it has helped a lot in healthcare. Again, if I talk about finance and retail sector, again, this is helping them where people are also taking these days, because these LLM models and Gen AI models are trained on financial data as well, right? There are specific financial based LLM models as well, who have started giving financial advices to people and for free, right? But then again, responsible AI comes into picture, wherein you need to be responsible if you're learning something from them, right? But yeah, these have helped the people a lot in these days. Yeah.
So, what do you think are the ethical concerns that are associated with the use of LLMs, and especially in generating content?
Yeah. So, like I would say, ethical concerns will always be there. It has always been there, starting when we are talking about machine learning back in the decade as well. But today, everything is being generated, right? So when we are talking about generative AI models and generating content from them, we should follow the rules and abide by the thing that whenever we are generating things or whenever we are using those generated things, it should be copyright free. First of all, right? Second thing is it should not have anyone's PII data, right? And if I talk about like you passing the data to Gen AI models, you should mask your data, right? Masking comes in when there are certain parameters like social security number, like passport number, like PAN number, like phone number. You should, whenever you are passing certain data to Gen AI model to predict that, or to say summarize that, or to do some work from that, you should mask that data. Masking is very easy. You just take out those parameters. You just train your model that if you see any kind of phone number there, just mask it out. If you see any kind of SSN number there, right, you just mask it out, because then these models are also responsible enough, but you have to tell them how to be responsible. So that is one of the most, like I would say, safety measures which a developer should take.
So, how do you stay informed about these evolving ethical guidelines and the practices in generative AI?
Guidelines are readily available on the internet. Also, when we learn about these models, like if I'm talking about, say, Google's Gemini Pro or Gemini or OpenAI, if we read their documentation, if we read their policies, security policies, everything is mentioned in detail in there. It's not like that they have not mentioned it. People, like companies, have clearly mentioned it, and we should read that. It will give us a lot of information about how we should do that, how we should use Gen AI in a like good structural and ethical way.
So, my second last question to you would be, as generative AI is becoming more integrated into our everyday life, what do you believe will be the most transformative impact it will have on society?
About this, I could say that these days what we are seeing is people right from the birth of a child, like for example, if a child is 1 year old, right, till the time like in their old age, everyone is using generative AI, right? Everyone is trying to like even the old age people I have seen, which is very fascinating to me, right? When we see old age people in their 60s, 70s, they don't know how to type in English, but then they do know how to use a mic, right? This is not only the, I would say, not only about generative AI, this is about technology, how technology has evolved, right? So everybody know how to use a mic, and with like I would say models, and with all these translation languages, all these translation services, which are again a part of machine learning again, right? What they are doing is they are talking in their native language, and they are getting the data in their hands, whatever they want, even if they are a part of India, even if they are a part of very rural part, even if they belong to rural parts of India, or even they belong to West, right? Everybody has access to that these days. So this has created created the word in a, like, make the word connected like never before, right? Earlier, nowadays we see that if I don't know if you have seen, but I have seen in my locality, in my homes as well, that people who are like 60 plus, right, they have started connecting with their colleagues at their from their time. Earlier there was no such thing, but today I have seen like a lady next door. She is a retired teacher, I'd say, and at this point of time around 70. With the help of Facebook, she is able to connect to her schoolmates, right? So this is what technology has done. It has made us more connected like never before. Yeah.
So, my last question would be, it's obviously fascinating to see how technology builds connections and bridges. So, anything that you would like to give as advice to our listeners?
Like my one and only advice would be open to learning. I know everybody is these days very enthusiastic to learn new technologies, and it's really, really good, right? Because if we don't learn, how would we advance the things, right? If there was no enthusiasm about making machine learning better, then Gen AI would not be into picture these days, right? It comes from enthusiasm, it comes from learning. But then we have to be responsible, we have to know our limits, we have to care about the data, we have to also care about our clients if we are in professional space, right? Or if you are going ahead into your, like, moving from your colleges to companies, started working or launching your own companies, just be very responsible about your clients' data, your data. And then apart from this, everything is like a very good to go, and then you are like open to do anything, whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights and roadmap with us today. It's been a very enlightening conversation, and I'm sure our listeners are walking away with a clearer path to becoming Gen AI developers. Thank you again. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Technophiles Talk. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do not forget to subscribe and share it with your fellow tech enthusiasts. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of technology. Until next time, keep innovating. Thank you, ma'am, once again. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure. Thank
It
you
was
for
really great hearing your insights into Gen AI.
Thank you so much.